two, one.
Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Football Happy Hour. It is the Week 8 NFL season preview. I know normally I come to you on Sunday mornings, but I'm doing a little bit of traveling. So we are here a day early to get the preview that'll include games of the week, sit start suggestions, and end with my picks against the spread. I actually did really well both straight up and against the spread in Week 7, so that makes me hopeful going into Week 8. But let's talk about Thursday Night Football, which again, let me down a little. The Vikings came into Los Angeles to play the Chargers, and while I thought the Chargers would win, I thought this would be something of a close game. It definitely was not. The Vikings not looking like the playoff team they were a year ago. They slumped now to 3-5, a 37-10 loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. Carson Wentz not looking incredible, 15 of 27, 144 yards, had a touchdown, interception. They could not run the ball at all. Aaron Jones comes off of IR. It's 15 yards on 5 carries. Jordan Mason only 3 yards on 4 carries. Xavier Scott actually doing better in limited work, had 2 carries for 16 yards. Justin Jefferson still 7 for 74. Addison 3 for 26 and a touchdown. So for fantasy, they end up okay. But this was not a great game unless you were a Chargers fan. Justin Herbert continuing to tear things up, 227, but 3 touchdowns, did have an interception. Kamani Vidal running for 117 yards. Herbert adding 62 yards on the ground. He's really added that running component, which is good because they don't have a lot of running backs. This was a tough one if he started Quentin Johnston. He has been one of their hottest receivers this year, but was held without a catch in this game. Ladd McConkey, 6 for 88 and a touchdown, kind of what you like to see from McConkey, who was a great fantasy asset last year. Oronde Gadsden continues to step up at tight end, saw 5 targets, but caught all of them for 77 yards and a touchdown, really solidifying himself at the top of the pecking order there. Just kind of a solid win for the Chargers, who moved to 5-3. They stay within a half game of the Broncos for the lead in the AFC West. The Chiefs are 4-3, Broncos 5-2. Both of them going to play this weekend. That is going to be a really tight, potentially 3-team race again down the stretch, kind of like it was last year. So that's the game that's already in the books. Let's talk about our games of the week. With the London games done, the international series takes a couple weeks off, returning November 9th when we will go to Germany, and then the following weekend when we go to Spain. So for now, there are 6 teams on a bye this week, so that really limits the schedule. Only 13 games total on the schedule means only 11 on Sunday. We already had the Thursday night game. We have one on Monday night, but in the early window, I like the 4-2 Buffalo Bills coming off a bye at the 4-3 Carolina Panthers. Yes, Bryce Young likely to be out or is out, and Andy Dalton will be stepping up. Can the Bills kind of put themselves together, get themselves going? Can they get some of their defenders healthier? They went into the bye week losing 2 straight after starting 4-0 and being one of the last undefeated teams. In the afternoon window, I don't know how you could go any other way but the Denver Broncos hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys defense has struggled, but their offense has been on fire of late. They are 3-1. They are still hanging around in the midst of a playoff race. The Broncos, meanwhile, 5-2. They have won 4 straight games to take the lead in the AFC West. Last week was in incredible fashion in the fourth quarter, trailing 19-0 in the fourth quarter, end up pulling out the 33-32 victory. Their strength has been defense. Can they hold this Cowboys offense down? Can they get their own offense rolling, running game and passing game? Sunday Night Football, an incredible matchup as the 4-1-1 Green Bay Packers head to battle the 4-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers facing his former team. Can Jordan Love lead the Packers over Aaron Rodgers, or will Rodgers be able to get the Steelers a win? Both these teams in first place in their division and both chasing high spots in the conference. And then Monday night, this one takes a little bit of a hit, but the 3-4 Washington Commanders at the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 4-3, really like the Chiefs, like their potential. But we'll see how things kind of shake out for them. A little bit of a rougher matchup. Um, and the Commanders missing out on their uh, starting quarterback in uh, Jaden Daniels, who is injured. So we'll see how things shake out. Sorry, little bit of a stumble there, but I like the Kansas City Chiefs in that game, and I think it's going to be a real tough test for the Commanders. Commanders were a real darling last year, but they have struggled a little bit this year. You know, probably a little bit of a question mark as they head into this new uh, kind of season and trying to make a playoff run. It's not looking as likely that they're going to be able to hang around. They're third in their division right now. That loss to the Cowboys was rough. The Eagles and the Cowboys are both ahead of them. Can they kind of climb back? Can they get healthier? There is an outside shot that Deebo Samuel and Terry McLaurin can play on Monday, and so that would be a great sign if they can get that to happen. Well, that does it for games of the week. How about some sit start options? Last week I did pretty well on sit start. My starts, I recommended Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, and Harold Fannin Jr. Went 3-1 there. Harold Fannin actually led the Browns pass catchers, but it was not a good passing day, so it was not enough for him to get into the top 12 of tight ends. My sits, I recommended putting Tua Tagovailoa, Ken Walker, DJ Moore, and Theo Johnson on the bench. And again, it was tight end that hung me up. Theo Johnson caught a deflected pass for a huge touchdown that landed him in the top 12. That was a little unexpected, but these things happen. So let's look at our sit start suggestions this week. As always, one sit, one start from each of the four core positions. We'll start at quarterback, and my start, I've come all the way around to Joe Flacco. Since coming over to the Bengals prior to week 6, Flacco has been on fire. He's QB9 over the past 2 weeks. Now he gets a home game against the Jets defense that, to charitably put it, is in disarray. When you combine that with 6 teams on a bye and a number of injuries and changes at the position, I'm just bullish on Joe Flacco this week. My sit, meanwhile, is CJ Stroud of the Houston Texans. Stroud was great as a rookie, but while the Texans made the playoffs in 2024, some of the shine has come off Stroud's game for fantasy in 2025. It's been a disaster. The Texans have been mediocre. They have no real line or run game. I think all that's taken a toll on Stroud. Now he gets to face the 49ers and Robert Saleh. He's going to be missing Christian Kirk and Nico Collins. Yeah, that's a pass for me. Well, that's quarterbacks. Let's move along to running backs. And I will say that my start this week is a Brown. Quinshon Judkins. I started a Bengal and a Brown. What is happening in this world? Well, Judkins had a tumultuous offseason and a bad start to his rookie year. But since signing and getting on the field, he's been great. He's RB11 since week 2. He's been the heart of the Browns' offensive attack, and I think that continues in week 8. He is a great start. My sit, and this is a rough one, Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. Look, he's a big name. He's been a fixture in the NFL and fantasy lineups for years, but he just hasn't been that productive for the Saints in 2025. He has just 76 yards on 19 carries the past 3 weeks. Some receiving work has helped, but it really hasn't been enough. He's averaging only 10.8 points per game through 7 games. Now he gets to face a tough Buccaneers rush defense. He's just a sit for me. Wide receivers, well, it doesn't get much better than the return for Rashee Rice. Saw 10 targets, caught 7 of them for 42 yards and 2 touchdowns. In week 8, he's going to be in prime time. He gets to face a fantasy-friendly Commanders defense. I would fire him up. My sit, meanwhile, Keon Coleman. Look, he has plenty of upside. We saw that in a week 1 performance where he scored more than 25 fantasy points. The problem is he only has 32 fantasy points in all of the games since. He's only wide receiver 46 on the season. It's just too inconsistent to feel good about him as a top 24 start. How about tight ends? Well, I don't like going against the Broncos, but my start this week is Jake Ferguson. Yes, They are playing my Broncos, but if there is one place the Broncos are weak, it's right up the middle of the field. That's particularly true with Drake Greenlaw, suspended now for a week. That makes Ferguson, who's already TE1 on the season, a very deadly option. I am firing him up. My sit, meanwhile, is the Broncos tight end, Evan Ingram. Look, seeing the Cowboys on the schedule, you'd like to get excited about playing your Broncos, and maybe a 33-point fourth quarter increases that. But the Broncos passing game outside of Cortland Sutton is still too inconsistent for me. Could Ingram have a big day? You know what? It's possible, but I'm just not counting on him. And when it comes to sit start and when it comes to some of the options at the tight end position, I just don't think he is the greatest option if you're looking for top 12 production. Well, that's my lineup suggestions. Let's move on to picks against the spread. Week 7, I was 11-4. That got things back on track. Had me sitting at 56-52 coming into the week. I mentioned I thought Thursday night football would be closer. I took the Vikings plus 3.5, even though I thought the Chargers would win. And that did not work out for me. So I'm 56-53 going into Sunday's games. I took the Atlanta Falcons minus 7.5 at home against the Dolphins. Don't think I need a big explanation. The Dolphins have been bad. I took the Bengals minus 6.5 at home against the Jets. The Jets starting Tyrod Taylor doesn't impress me much. I also think Joe Flacco and the Bengals offense is going to cook. I took the Cleveland Browns plus 7.5 in New England against the Patriots. I think the Patriots get the outright win, but I think this one will be close. Cleveland has a good defense and a good running game. I took the New York Giants plus 7.5 on the road at Philadelphia. I think the Eagles will rebound and get a win here, even though the Giants got them the first time. But I think this is going to be closer than a 7.5-point spread. Same thing in Carolina. I took the Panthers plus 7.5 at home over the Bills. I think the Bills will get the outright win, but I don't think this is a Bills team that's going to win by 2 touchdowns. I took the Bears plus 6.5 on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens can get a win, get their second win of the season, but I think this is going to be a close game. I don't think either team runs away. I took the 49ers minus 1.5 on the road in Houston. I just don't like the cut of this Texans team this year. I took the New Orleans Saints plus 5.5 at home against the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers will get the win here, but they are beat up. I think the Saints have been feisty. I think this one will be tighter. I took the Dallas Cowboys plus 3.5 points in Denver. Again, I think the Broncos will get the win, but I don't think they're going to pull away from a good Cowboys offense. I took the Colts minus 14.5. It is a large spread, but Tennessee Titans have been really bad, and the Colts have the best record in football. I think they get the victory here. I took the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 3.5 at home against the Packers. I actually think the Steelers get the win at home against the Packers, so one of my underdog picks. I took the Commanders plus 10.5 on the road at Kansas City. I think the Chiefs win this game. I think they could win comfortably by more than a touchdown. I don't know if they win by 11 or more points. I think the Commanders have a little bit more fight than that. So I took the points there on the spread. Those are my picks against the spread. That's my look at week 8 of the NFL season. Hard to believe we're already here. We're about halfway through the NFL season. This is the last full weekend in October. It's going to be November football by the time most of these teams get back on the field, though we do have one Thursday night game on the day before Halloween. That should be a little bit of fun. Fewer teams on a bye next week, a few more interesting games on the schedule. So come back next week. I will be back in my normal Sunday slot doing the week 9 preview. Until then, have a wonderful week and good luck out there.